Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing just as good as I'm doing today. I'm pretty damn excited today. I'm pretty ecstatic. It is the first time, like, in the past, I want to say 2 weeks, where my shoulders have finally kind of cooled down a little bit. It's been rough in the beginning, losing this weight with not the cut I've been doing, with the recomposition of the way I eat, and just same portion sizes, just healthier foods type shit. And the decrease in energy definitely made it hard to lock in with the Olympic lifts after doing power lifts. It's tough to do on its own when I'm basically doing two sports in one. So it's really nice to see where that's gotten to physically. Shit, solid like 8.2. Nothing crazy. Really good day regardless. But I think on the beginning of the Clean+Jerks, it was pretty slow. Like mainly the first set, maybe a little bit of the second set. I wasn't like fully dialed in yet, but had to just pull out all 28 dogs barking within me it's all a mental game with Olympics. Especially when it's paired with a power lift. Even if I do full range of motion, it's still always going to be tough striating and tensing my muscles to the maximum degree with bench or squat, and then immediately going into an exercise where I need to be as relaxed as I can. But again, that's kind of why I do it. I like the conditioning of it. I think I have better long-term results, and it allows me to put some days on the program where I can isolate the strength in my power lifts. Mentally, shit, solid 9.1. Nothing bad whatsoever. It was one of those days a bunch of the homies came up. I actually had a guy I know, I see him a lot, and he's not new, but he's not like, it's more, he's pretty like, he joined the gym more recently, in the last year. And he got squat shoes today, and man, it is fun to see what some squat shoes will do to a homie, because they never realize that when you put them on, it puts a lot more strain toward your quads, the front of your body. So likewise, while you're trying to keep your trunk and your hips as tight as possible, he has never used that much of his core before on the front. And so, I tell you, when that man was moaning, he was moaning. he was letting out all the demons. Because, again, I mention it a lot, but you suck all the air into your abdomen, hold it as tight as you can, and the moment your strength starts to leave you, you're going to let the soul out a little bit. But, again, it was just on top of, having a great day with the homies and seeing other people make great progress. Had another homie fucking doing 480 for sets of 3. I was like, good Lord, my fucking guy, good for you. But, on my end, more importantly, I am really proud of where the bench was today. The other day, if you saw it, I don't know what happened. I just think I wasn't taking enough rest in between my sets. I was kind of jumping the gun a little bit. And maybe I didn't sleep enough. Maybe I was working too much. I don't know. There's always a ton of extraneous factors that go into this kind of thing without you realizing it until you actually lift the weight. But I, for the first time in 6-8 months, failed the last rep of my last set on bench. And bench is one of my strong points just genetically. I've always had a really great bench. And so I was really surprised. I was I guess the weight loss has just been fucking me up. And I came in today with the mindset of vengeance. I wanted to fucking get back at it. I wanted to really lock in and try to commit as hard as I could to the drive and holding the pause, pushing all the way through. And it was easier than shit today. It actually, in a good way, pissed me off. It was stupid how fast it moved, when the other day I felt like I was just fucking around and not doing shit. It was just, it was honestly stupid the way I let myself fall the other day. But again, I tell everybody, no matter how strong you are, how good you think you are, you going through those shit days are going to be random. You're never going to know it's a shit day until you hit that one really bad set. And it's just about having the mindset of pushing through it with the best form and the best effort, the best energy, the best passion that you have that day to fully put everything you got into it, you know? So, I don't like putting, you know, all of the causation onto my mental, but I'm always saying it. Like, if you have a good fucking mental energy about your lifts that day, even if you haven't done them yet and you're waiting to feel out a warm-up or whatever, if you just walk in the gym feeling like I'm gonna kill this shit today, if either I kill the weights or the bar kills me kind of mindset, and a good mentality can really just make your workout like the easiest thing that you've ever done, even if you feel like it's supposed to be like a 9 on the intensity scale, you know, if you train RPM type shit. I'm not familiar with it, but, you know, other than that, you know, it's really something that I don't think a lot of people think about is part of me like really locking into the bench today was bench. Even, you know, once you start squatting for a while, you understand that it's a core exercise, not a leg exercise. It's like when it comes to its limitation, because I judge a lift based off of what dies first. So most lifts are, if you're doing free bar weights, it's going to be a core lift at its most initial causation for failure. But same thing with bench. If you don't have your trunk, your low back, your core tight and like not injured, then you're not gonna be able to bench. And so one thing that people really don't realize is that I'm not saying like hiking your back up to the point where you're having awful range of motion like the old powerlifting videos used to look, because I hate that shit, you know. No, like if you're having fun, go for it, but if you're just doing it to put up a number, like god damn it, man, like go make more money then. It's like if you're gonna make the weights obligational, then go fucking put that into something that'll make life a little bit easier for you in already obligational subjects like work, like the job. But what I'm trying to get to is when I'm on the bench, it's not just putting an arc in your low back. It's arcing the low back, but then driving the mid back muscles, like the lats, into your low back. You know, as weird as that may sound, it's like, to me, it feels like there's a shift that goes from your lats like relaxed, and then kind of like how you learn to flare them out, it's kind of flaring them downward toward your low back. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but I think once you really scrunch your back muscles as tight as you can while being able to maintain good arm control, good shoulders, you know, good elbow depth, whatever on the bench, you can use so much core strength on the bench without having more than like a half an inch arc, you know? I don't think you can ever barely see the arc that I make, but I feel like I'm shooting the weight up with my legs half the time, you know? The arms are just kind of the part of the body, at least to me, if you're doing a full range of motion, not even proper, just full range of motion bench, because I don't want people to get it mixed up. Like, if you're having fun doing bench in a different way, have fun, you know? I'm all about people lifting in the way that they feel the best with, that they have the most fun with. But when it comes to, if you're trying to do full range of motion with the best form imaginable, then really being able to push all that strength into your core and then allowing your arms to just kind of be the little cinder blocks that kind of like on a squat, when you're coming out of the hole, you use your legs to, like your quads, to get out of the hole when you're doing like a high bar ass to grass squat. That like ass to grass to a 90 degree area, that's more quad than anything. But then the moment you get out of that 90 degree, or even it could be less depending on who you are and what your femur length is, the moment you're driving up, it becomes core dominant, and so you just have to lock the legs in and drive. So same thing on bench. I just lock in my back, I push my lats in, I hold my core as tight as I can, I keep my legs firm and stable on the ground, as flat as I can. And, if I can get that really good drive, just like that little half an inch off of my chest, with as much arm as possible. The rest of it's kind of just, as long as I maintain that tightness in my arms, I can probably drive the rest of it with my core strength. As weird as that may sound for a bench. Again, I'm not literally putting everything into core. It's just a matter of like using your core to supply the technique needed for the best, efficiently accurate drive that you can put into a bench. Otherwise, just to kind of throw in the pause clean and jerks in there, because I don't want to leave them out too much. The first, I say this a lot, but the first set of an Olympic lift after a power lift feels kind of crunchy. It can be a little hard on the joints because you just did a super tight, static range of motion with like bench or squat, and now you got to do a very dynamic, flexible, mobile lift. And so, it's just getting that, like making sure my mobility is there, my confidence is there, trying to lock in as I can on that first one. And then once I got that bit of warmness to it, I can really just start mentally locking in as hard as I fucking can. And just, it's never a thought to me about like driving the arms up as hard as I can. It's about getting that, again, same thing with coming out of the hole on squat or coming out of the hole on bench. Just that little dip and drive, just the little bit that it takes you to push off your toes and really get that most vertical push you can. And then after that, you're not trying to push the bar up after it's already in the air. The moment it gets in the air, your main priority needs to be letting your body sink down and letting wherever your elbows are going to lock out and your feet are going to land right where you can meet the bar, I guess. I hate it when people think that they need to overcompensate their pull, or even when they have to overcompensate their split with their feet. I used to do that a lot, where I basically do like a full jump and then a plant, instead of just the moment I come out of the drive up, you just plant right away. It's a split jerk. You're supposed to be splitting the earth in half with how fast your feet are getting apart. So if you think that there's like a little bit of a second where you can see yourself jump then plant, you're probably leaning forward when you catch it, which again, it's just, that makes it way harder and develops really bad habits for the future. So, just maybe try to be a little bit mindful of that kind of thing. But again, it's never driving with your arms as hard as you can and then just hoping you lock out. It's meeting the bar with the lockout in your elbows, Of course, the strength to hold it there needs to be there, but I compare it to like stuff like when you compare leg press with squat, you can maybe leg press 1,000 pounds, but then only squat 300, because the core and the form is what takes you the rest of the way. And you don't need that on a machine lift. And so if you can get that perfect lockout where your elbows lock out right before the bar lands from the suspended airtime it has, and your feet plant right when your elbows lock out, strength-wise, you shouldn't be limited there. I say it a lot, but it's very rare that the overall strength in your main muscle groups are what limit you in Olympic lift. It's always the technique first, because that's just hard to be consistent with ever if you miss any day. The core strength second, because again, it's hard to maintain as perfect upright form as you can in a dynamic lift like that. And then lastly comes the main muscle group strength. If you're perfect in technique and form and you're failing because of strength, you are a good fucking Olympic lifter. Jesus Christ, I'm jealous of you, because I wish the misses I had were because of strength. It's so rare that the strength of it is what fucks you up. So if you got that, be proud of yourself, but just let's wrap it up. Take that shit with a grain of salt. This is all just my own personal experience, trying to throw that shit out at you and see if anybody can connect with one little thing I say. If you have a little trouble squishing the back muscles on the bench, or a little trouble getting a good split jerk on the clean and jerk, anything like that, it's always great to hear someone else's opinion about it. Whether or not it helps you is not so much as what's important. It's just a matter of getting enough outside experience from the lifts as you can as you're learning, until you finally get that one really good lift where everything clicks, and that one thing that one guy said just like really sticks to your brain. You're like, that's the mind muscle connection right there. And then as long as you're consistent, you typically never forget it. So, you know, that's all I got. I'm hanging out with the homies tonight, and I'm going to do me. So keep enjoying the lifts. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that you stay consistent. Make sure that you take one positive step at a time. And tomorrow's rest day, and then you're going to get to see the peak week, which will, oddly enough, be in a crunch, it's going to be weird for me too, because I'm going out of town. But the equipment is not going to be what limits me. I'm going to fucking kill that shit either way. Even if I don't hit the weights that I want to hit, I'm going to put in my best efforts, and that's what I care about. So I'll see you guys in 2 days, you know? Have fun in the meantime. See ya.